Hey guys, welcome in. Please excuse my voice. I have been sick, and that's why I haven't done anything in the past like 2 weeks. So getting over a cold. I'll probably cough and die throughout this video. But thanks so much for being here. Your boy Raz, and I have the fresh baked goods.
Hello.
And we're here to talk to you about the Hella Loose upcoming roadmap and walking through each one of the releases. So
Uh,
I'm super
yeah, I
excited.
will say before we jump into this, I guess it should be known everything on this list is intentionally vague. So you're gonna hear Raz and I say the words could and if a lot because that really deter we don't know how this roadmap is gonna end up. We really don't. It could be good, could be bad. I don't know. A lot of the stuff on here sounds great on paper, but until we actually see how it's done, we don't know how good it'll be. Could be shit.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think like for me, just cautiously optimistic. I mean, I've been let down plenty of times before. Obviously, we had a lot of stuff that was like announced and nothing came out. So I would say within, expectations for sure. It's okay to be excited, but like don't get too excited in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd say stay whelmed. Don't be overwhelmed.
Yes.
Stay whelmed. But the positive side is, at first glance, this is a lot better than the 2024 roadmap. So that is definitely positive. They have going for them, and they seem really confident they can accomplish all this.
Cool. So let's dive into it. Upcoming content. So the first thing we see, right? Tobruk. Tobruk?
Yes.
Tobruk? I always
Tobruk?
say it wrong.
Tobruk?
I don't know.
Tobruk?
Tobruk.
I
And
don't know.
I'm probably showing some Tobruk video right now. So Tobruk is the newest map for Hello Loose. PC players have played it. Console, you probably have not even seen it at all. I mean, we know it's coming. In my opinion, amazing map.
Yes, absolutely. Some of the best urban combat in Hell Loose, in my opinion. So this will be the first thing we get. I mean, it's on here, but we all know it's coming. Should be here within the next few weeks. But great map. Plays like nothing else. Great warfare map, especially. So really excited for it. I know it's kind of a cop out putting this on the roadmap, but hey, it is part of 2025, so it kind of has to be on here because it is not technically out yet, and the roadmap is coming out first.
Yeah, and just quick, if you guys haven't seen this map, I mean, desert map, North Africa, I believe, and it is basically a good mix of armor and infantry. A lot of cities in the main portion of the map. I think warfare wise, it's really well built. Where a lot of the action to be had in warfare, which is typically the middle of the map, of course, has a good feel in each portion, and there are a lot of obviously like good tank areas, but you can fuck off with the tanks if you want with infantry by just staying in the cities.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, this plays differently than everything else. I think it's Team 17's best map out of the three that they've done,
Agreed.
and it's just a good addition.
Yeah, I mean the desert as well has brand new effects to it, which we saw in Elsenborn, which has the snowstorm. This one has a sandstorm, so
Yep.
really cool. I mean, different times of day as well. I think the day time or day time of day, just one of the best skyboxes I've seen in Hella Loose,
Yeah,
flat
it's a
out.
gorgeous map. It's a gorgeous map, and I think it's yeah. I mean, not much else to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, Tobruk, we know that's coming, so it is what it is. New map, Eastern Front. So I think this is what Fresh and I, and if you haven't seen the Razcast where we kind of came out with our early predictions of the Hellas roadmap, this is something that we had predicted, right? I mean, we spoke about the Tobruk
Probably.
is a British map. We had
Hmm.
imagined they would come out with an Eastern map and then probably like a France map. So for sure, new Eastern map announced. There you go.
Yeah, there's no indication on what this will be. I know people are going to see this image and be like, "Oh, there's trees." I would safely say don't look at any of these images and think they mean something. For example, the image below it is of an old Sherman. So these images don't matter. It's just that they're saying it's going to be an Eastern Front map, and that is it. If I had to guess, I bet it's going to be Berlin because that's what every player's been asking for. So I think they will deliver on that. And I think that's kind of the style of map that is missing from the Eastern Front in this game. But again, nothing to indicate that, just a guess.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about this as well in the Razcast. I would be right there with you. I think if it's anything other than a Carentan style, like urban map for the Eastern Front, I think everyone's going to be very disappointed. Like we have a lot of
Absolutely.
open maps on the Eastern Front, and I know obviously that's traditionally what it is, but late war definitely not, right? Like it need if it's not Berlin, it has to be some sort of like Stalingrad style map in the sense that
Yeah.
it's very tight. But Stalingrad, unfortunately, Hell Loose is just really open, right? There's not like an actual city there. So I
Yeah.
think just an actual city like in Germany would be phenomenal. I hope
Yeah.
it is. I hope it's like a good addition. But yeah, I think
If
that's
it's not, missed opportunity.
absolutely. I mean, like
That's really it.
tells me that they're not listening to the community, hands down. Like to your
But
point, Fresh,
again,
like
yeah,
that's got to be it.
d- we're hoping for it, but again, no information there.
Map refresh, Stalingrad. That's cool. They're refreshing it. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, I know it runs like trash on every system, PC,
Yeah.
PS5, and Xbox, but notably on Xbox, it causes Xboxes to crash and the game to
Wow.
crash. So, yeah, I think well needed. But I personally enjoy Stalingrad kind of the way it is to an extent. I think a refresh would be nice, but not too much, in my opinion. Just
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I
optimize it.
think as long as they optimize performance, I think that is step one. And I think the only thing I would really demand change on is those middle points. Because all right now the three middle points all feel the same. It's all just train tracks. So I think if they were to rework it and make two of those a little more interesting, I think that would go a long way for
Yeah.
this map.
I also think that in Stalingrad, if they somehow level it out, now again, I'm not any like,
Ooh, that would be great. I would think that
yeah,
would play so much better.
like I don't know the geography of the actual Stalingrad area, whether or not it is elevated like that. But if they did make it more flat, or at least that hill a little more like gradual, which I imagine is probably more realistic, is like a gradual instead of like an actual hillside.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
clue.
that would play a lot better in my opinion.
But I think, yeah, for gameplay purposes, I think get rid of just the AT gun and tank snipes. Because when I think of Stalingrad, I think of urban combat. I don't think of long range combat. I don't know how historically accurate that is. It's just what I think of when I think of Stalingrad. So hopefully
Yeah,
that's the way it's going.
agreed. So probably why you guys are watching our channels, vehicles. So new vehicles. This is classified. No one knows about it.
No
They're
information.
yeah, literally nothing. I like what Fresh said. I would take these images with a grain of salt. That image, to me, the first thing that stands out, like someone shooting from on top of the tank.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. And I'm like, I say take it with a grain of salt, but the Eastern Front does have a Russian dude on it, whereas new vehicles have a tank and a machine gun on top. So these images are implying something, but obviously it's not the clear cut. So yeah, they're implying something with this. Why else would it's a great image. Um, yeah, new vehicles. I would imagine this means we get new tanks. Doesn't mean we're gonna get mounted MGs. Maybe I don't know. If they do, only two things. It should only be used for the spotter, or the spotter should be able to lock it out from using or from letting random infantry use it because that will just ruin
Yeah,
everything. But
I
that's a
genuinely
whole thing.
Hallaloose devs, if you guys are watching this, I really hope you reach out to Fresh and I, or at like Das Altberg, or some sort of like comp tankers to consult. Please, I beg you. Like, the last thing you, the player, and I want is, say, like a Tiger 2 added to the game where there's no balance changes made, and all they do is add it being stronger than the heavies, because that will create the same problem we have today, which is the heavy meta. And so you'll have a super heavy meta, and no one will be running any tank except the super heavies, which will, in my opinion, not make it fun at all.
Yeah, it kind of ruins the game a little bit more because right now the heavy meta in a way ruins the tanks in Hell Let Loose. So if you pile on another tier above the heavy tanks by adding more tanks and not changing anything, you are just ruining the quality gameplay because it's not changing much. It's always going to be one shot this, two shot that, and you're just waiting in HQ long or for fuel to go up or a longer cooldown. So yeah, adding more vehicles I don't think is a good idea without changing stuff, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. because it's either copy and pasting a skin or just really kind of making the meta even worse.
Yeah. I mean, do we want the Tiger 2? For sure, bring it on. But it needs to have some sort of change to the overall armor scale. Uh Wish list for me, I mean, tank destroyers, I think, is like the main thing I would love. Some sort of tank destroyer vehicle. Or more what you see in Squad 44, like armor or like vehicle warfare, where they have more vehicles that you can run out there with machine guns. I mean, we never see the 50 cal being used in the game. It's been in there
Yeah,
forever, never used. You never want to use it on the half track. So more vehicles have with 50 cals, guns on top of tanks, sure.
sure, just done correctly.
Next thing, themed cosmetic DLC. I mean, that looks cool.
Yes. Yeah,
Great.
I'm down with it. Like what they did with LL Main and the factions and stuff. I think map specific content is really cool as long as you're not paying for it. If you're paying for DLC, you should be able to use it whenever you want. Otherwise, you're fully dependent on a server giving you that map to even see it. And I don't like that for the gaming industry in particular, let alone Hell Let Loose. So if it's going to be paid DLC, you should be able to use it across the whole game. If it's map specific DLC, which I really enjoy, it should just be normal unlocks or just the default thing. But I'm
Yeah.
all for having shorts on desert maps or winter uniforms on winter maps. I like that makes immersion better. So if there's more of that, I'm all for it.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, for me, just bring on all the cosmetic DLC you want, make it realistic, and to Fresh's point, sorry, I'm dying over here. So to Fresh's point, like make sure it's not locked to like one specific map for like $20, right? But I mean, they got to pay for the game somehow. More people buy DLC, the more content we get. Honestly, I mean, I'm fine with it.
Absolutely. It's
Just
just
make
how
sure it's
business
realistic.
is.
I don't want
Yep.
gold guns,
No.
but different like outfits on guys or different guns with like maybe some light realistic camo or like straps or wraps on it, whatever, like
Well,
scratches, cool,
the
great.
picture implies beards, and I like that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll pay a couple bucks for a beard,
I like
sure.
beards. Yeah, sure.
Next thing, feature upgrades. So there's a couple. I'll run through all of them real quick and we'll talk about them. Feature upgrades, weather variations, XP reward systems, flamethrower, RCON V2, audio, and VFX.
So weather variations, again, this is very intentionally vague here. Could be this, could be that. What I honestly think it will be is just copy and pasting what we already have to other maps. For example, in Elsenborn, we have the dynamic snow. I would imagine we see that in Foy and Kharkov. With the sandstorm in Tobruk, I imagine we see that in LL Main, and I imagine we see the rain with some purple heart lane on other maps. I don't think this is going to be anything crazy. I think it's just going to be kind of more of the same on different maps. I hope it's not more night maps. I don't know how we could ever do more night maps. I hate night maps, but I don't think that's what this is. I think it's just dynamic weather on other maps.
Agreed. I would agree entirely. Rain, snow, sleet, hail, fog, whatever it is, like just more on different maps, I think. Straight up.
Yeah, and my hope is you'll be able to toggle it like a perfect world. I imagine in Archon or whenever you're making a rotation, maybe it'll be like you could do Tobruk without the sandstorm, or you could do Elsenborn without the snowstorm, and you'll be able to select that. And I think that'd be really cool.
The next thing, XP reward systems. Now, I'm not entirely sure. I would imagine this is some sort of progression, like expansion on top of what's already there.
I'd hope so. I mean,
Yeah,
that's kind of what I'm hoping.
it's pretty vague, but what we spoke about with the devs, like, what is it, a year ago, over a year ago now at this
Yeah,
point.
well over here.
I mean, hopefully higher than level 10, right? Like some sort of additional rewards, additional like DLC or additional
Yeah.
cosmetics that you get from more XP. So
Yeah,
cool.
absolutely. I think a lot of us have been playing this game for years. Have already maxed a lot of stuff out,
Yeah,
and
if not everything.
obviously it takes a fucking forever to get up to level 500. But we're done getting rewards. We just play it to play it. So, but I do love unlocks. It makes me feel good when I
Yeah.
finish a game and I unlock something. So I'd love for more of that to happen to me.
And I've heard that as a lot of feedback from like TikTok and YouTube and my social medias. Like a lot of people wish there's more XP rewards. So great,
Yeah, absolutely.
pretty standard. So flamethrowers.
Yeah, so the
Uh,
flamethrower,
yeah. What about it?
kind of a kind of a meme gun in this game. Not the most useful, but hey, it looks really cool. Like I know when we're doing admin cam, we always follow the people around with flamethrowers. This gun needs to be improved on drastically. It needs to have better effect against other infantry for it to really be useful in any sort of way. So if they're improving the range, if they're improving how you shoot it, maybe you don't have to ADS or anything like that. It'll go a long way. But I don't even think it's going to be that useful after you do it, but maybe it will.
Yeah, I mean, great to the 5 people that still use it. Awesome.
Yeah, I know they did announce it'll be more use. Like you can take down nodes with it, which is like cool.
Okay,
Yeah, but
that's it.
yeah, who knows?
Great.
That's it. Yeah, great.
The first node innovation in 3 years. Anyway, RCON V2. So I'm not super into RCON, but that is going to be for server owners. I'm not sure if you can talk on that one.
Yeah, so 99% of the people watching this will have no idea what Archon is, and it won't matter to them. But what Archon is it's what helps server owners run your server with admin basically and making rotations. So the process of VIP, banning people, server messages, all that kind of stuff falls under Archon. So really, it's what controls the server with admin. And whatever makes it easier for server owners to do that, I'm all for it
Yeah.
because basically running a server is like an unpaid job a lot of times. So if you can make it easier for those people to do whatever they want, then that's a really good thing. And on top of that, if you are watching this and you do play on a specific server, thank the people that are running that server because they put
Mhm.
in a lot of work and put up with a lot of shit to make sure it's a good place to play.
Yeah. I mean, genuinely, I would just like, and we spoke to Craig about this on another episode of the Razcast. Like, the best case scenario for Hallelujah is the devs put more power into the players' hands to really refine what their server is. If you want to run repair torches only, you run repair torches only, right? That's like the end goal.
Hmm.
But I think just being able to go ahead and have more adjustability of your experience for that particular server is always a good thing for a game.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you don't know what Archon is, it's a tool that is very necessary to run a Hallelujah server. So this will hopefully improve that.
Next, audio, one of my favorite things. Audio, please, God, please, devs, I can't stop yelling at you and asking you to add this. I have been asking for the Fury whistle. I'll pop it in here so you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. The
Yeah,
Fury whistle.
cue the Fury shot.
All right. So I have been begging them to play that audio or have some sort of additional ricochet sound forever. But if you listen to a game like Squad 44 and you come back to Hell Loose, it's like ear porn is Squad 44. And then you come back
Hmm.
to Hell Loose and you're like, oh my God, like it's good, but it's not great, right? Like,
Yeah,
please work on the audio. I think there's so much opportunity. And if you've ever gone back and watched like old Hella Loose, do you remember those old Artie shells? I'll try to find a
yeah,
clip and I'll play it there.
Ese Pantera Squad Observer.
Oh my lord. The
yeah. I mean,
immersion is so much better.
Hellaloose audio has been something that's just always been like partially good. It's never been great. Like the tank sound should be so much more amplified, so much more intense. Explosions are kind of whatever. Gunshots are just not sharp and don't crack like they should. Don't sound like they do in real life. I feel like there's a big opportunity for this game to improve on audio and make it a little bit more intense and immersive. I will say I feel like I've seen audio on roadmaps in the past, and it's never been what we've wanted it to
Like an
be.
audio overhaul. It's
Yeah,
like
so
we
they've done it in the
added
past.
the MG42 whiz by sound. And that's like all that's
Yeah,
been done in
yeah,
2
and
years.
like in the interior gunshots,
Oh
but
yeah, that's pretty good.
yeah, that's good too. But still, the overall experience, there's so much to improve upon. The standards are so much higher than what Hell Loose currently has. So hopefully they take this opportunity to look at their competition and see what they're doing and try to improve on that because it's nowhere near it right now.
And it's like it doesn't have to be like these huge changes. It's just those little things too. Like I want you to picture you're in a tank, you're in a terrible, terrible tank fight, and you're like spotting, you tell your guy to shoot, you fire, and you just hear the guy like grunting to load it up, like on the way,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
just those sounds, man. Like
Ah! Fire! On the line!
we know there's no loader in Hella Loose, right? It's just the gunner. Like those little niche sounds that you just add doing different things, like that is what makes a game good to
Yeah, I
great.
think bottom line, when I look at Hell Let Loose sound, there's not even a single sound I'd be like, this is the benchmark in this game. There's
Yeah,
nothing that's perfect. Everything as far as audio in this game can be improved. So a lot of
agreed.
room there. Who knows what we're getting though?
VFX, I mean, I think VFX are decent in Hell Loose, honestly. Like I think the biggest thing for me and Fresh, I think is you as well. The explosions. I mean, the tank shouldn't blow up the same way as the truck.
Dude, it's a freaking GIF. So
Yeah,
vehicle explosions and bombing runs, all it is a GIF. And that is absolutely pathetic in 2025 for a game of this caliber to be using. So if they're not fixing that or improving that in this roadmap this year, that is just awful. Like we
hear me
can't keep
out.
having this.
Add 2 gifts. Now you've
Dude,
increased the amount of
y-
animations by double.
it's just a randomized GIF, which
Literally.
honestly, it might be that. We don't know. The
That's
standards of Hell Loose
fine,
have been over the years
but that would be
pretty
twice as
low.
good as it is now. Like,
I know, but I
literally.
don't want that. I want more.
Oh, I mean, I would
Again, when
love
you're looking at competition like Squad 44 and what they're doing over there as far as UX goes, like
yeah,
holy shit. Come on, Hell Loose. Like
agreed.
let's get up there. It's time.
Minimum baseline expectation, 2 gifts. One
Oh
one big
god.
explosion, one small explosion.
I
That is my
hope it's
minimum
better than that.
expectation.
I hope it's better than
You
that.
gotta set the bar low, that way they can blow your expectations away. Gameplay reworks is the next part. Precision strike. Uh I don't know what they could do about it, but if they change it, great.
So this could be good, could be bad. It's like everything on here, we don't know. So precision strike, if I had to guess what will be changed with this, it is a little wonky right now. It can never destroy garrisons for some reasons, despite a direct hit. Sometimes it won't kill a tank despite a direct hit. So it
The
is a little
hitbox is
wonky
really
there right
weird.
now. Yeah, so if they're proving on that, cool. But they need to be really, really careful with this because the 20-minute cooldown is there for a reason. This is basically a delete tank button.
Yeah.
So if you start giving this to a commander every 5 minutes, that is like less than the amount of time it takes for a fucking heavy tank to spawn in. So the cooldown is there for a reason, because it is a very, very powerful tool. So I think as long as they're fixing it and they keep the cooldown, maybe they lower the cost a little bit because cost is whatever. It's really about that cooldown. I think it'll be in a good spot. I don't think they need to change too much on this, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would agree. I think if anything, and I don't know if this would necessarily go in the artillery systems as well, but really just like asymmetrical gameplay. I think like
Yeah.
maybe having 2 different airstrikes that come in, or
Yeah.
the
I mean,
economy is just a little different.
yeah, the precision strikes is a good example of that. Like every bombing runs the same in this game, but we have the Stuka for the Germans, and all the planes are different for each faction with the missiles and rockets or whatever they are. So I think precision strike is a good example of what other commander abilities should be like in that effect. But yeah, again, this is all very vague. We don't have any clue what this
Yeah.
actually means.
Artillery systems, I think, is probably the biggest thing people have been
It
begging
could
for.
be, it could be, but
So, if you've
yeah,
been
go on.
living under no, I was just gonna say if you've been living under a rock, I mean, artillery systems, we've been talking about mortars for so long. Is this the first time we're confirmed getting mortars? Who knows? I don't know.
Could
Hopefully.
be. All right, so fact, hell loose fact, full stop. Artillery is the best weapon in this game, like
Period.
without a doubt.
No
If you know how
doubt.
to use artillery, you're controlling the most powerful weapon in this game, and that's why it's been such a big deal. Again, very vague here. All it says is artillery work. This could be mortars. It could be this. If I had to suspect what it is, there is a file or video in the game files of a charge being put on like a field gun. I bet they just take that charge system and make it so you can blow up artillery guns. Like it's a little animation, and maybe an engineer has to come repair it or something.
Yeah,
I bet it's gonna be very, very simple. Because I
that's
feel like
fine. I
mortars.
think simple is better. Sorry,
Yeah,
go on.
I feel like mortars would be its own announcement. So that's my only reason why I don't think it's that. I bet it's gonna be super simple. I bet it's gonna be they give that charge to like spotters or something,
I
and like
like
maybe engineers.
I would love mortars, but I also worry about mortars. Like
Could open
it's
another can of worms with that, dude.
yeah, it's basically artillery, but randomly around the map, right? Like that sucks.
Mhm.
So it's got to be some sort of balance. Like I would love for there to be a way that artillery could just be countered always, because that what you mentioned, Fresh, would be fantastic. But the problem is, like on offensive, you can't get back there anyway, so you can't
Yeah,
counter it
yeah,
anyway. So it's
absolutely.
like that. Those are some of the key problems I think in Hell Loose.
I mean, the best case scenario is they just remove it from the game, make it a commander call, but I
Oh my
doubt we
god,
get
I
that.
know.
I doubt we get that, but yeah, again, very vague. Don't know.
Armor systems. So this is the thing we were talking about. New vehicles. I mean, whole rework of armor would be fantastic. But Hell Loose needs to be Hell Loose. You
Yes, do
can't
not make
have.
my don't make
Yeah,
my Hell Loose Squad 44. I don't want it. I'll play
correct.
Squad 44 if I want Squad 44. The beauty of what makes Hell Loose tanking is the simplicity of it. You can jump in, you know you're gonna get in the tank, and you know what you're gonna get. And they just need to improve on that, and they'll be in a
Agreed.
good place.
Refine it.
Yeah, in a perfect world, to get away from that heavy meta, they make it so mediums can do damage to heavies from the front via weak spots, and they make medium tanks relevant again outside the first few minutes. Because if you're going against an experienced crew in a heavy tank, you have to be in a heavy tank. That's just the way it is. Really, the end goal for the current meta is to get as many heavy tanks on the field as your team can get. So I want them to get away from that, and hopefully that's what this is, instead of just adding another tier to it, like we were previously discussing.
Agreed. I'm right there with you. I mean, just Hell Loose, approachable milsim. That's like what it always has been. It's not a milsim. It's just an approachable, like milsim light, essentially, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
It needs
And I
to
will
be
say,
that.
the only thing I do not want, I do not want crew kills in this game.
You can't.
That it's so annoying. It's just like that. It's not fun. I get people who are like it's realistic, but it's not fun. Hell loose tanking is fun because it's hell loose tanking.
Yeah. I mean, if you wanted realism, you wouldn't teleport. It's
Yeah,
just the way it is.
yeah, it just is what it is, man. But yeah, again, this is all vague. This could be the biggest thing on this roadmap for us. We just don't know yet.
Medic roll. Hear me out. And my voice, you can probably hear it starting to like go out after I talk so much.
You're
Medic
almost there.
roll. I know. Medic roll. Hear me out. What I think, and this might be a crazy prediction, and maybe I'm thinking too deep into it. Dragging. I think
Could be.
they could add dragging. I think that's the only way I could potentially see medic being different, because you cannot get rid of the bodies exploding. You can't. That's the
No.
whole point of Hell Loose. That's what makes Hell Loose Hell Loose. So how do you make them somewhat useful? Dragging, I think.
Yeah, I don't know, because in order to like, Medic is arguably
No,
the
no, no.
most use.
It
It's
is the
it's
most
the most useless.
useless,
Yeah, yeah,
easily.
useless class in the game. Full stop. If anyone says otherwise, you just haven't played
Yeah.
this game enough. But realistically, in order to make Medic a proper role, you have to introduce tickets in this game, which they're not going to do.
No.
So I'm curious to what they do, see what they do with this, because I don't know how you can make it completely useful and
Agreed.
make it. Yeah. So my guess would be is it's gonna give like a passive buff or something like that. Like there will be
It
more of a
does,
passive
doesn't it?
buff. Yeah. So
Yeah.
kind of like that. Like you get less suppression if you have a medic around, stuff like that. So I would think there's going to be maybe something to increase that or similar to that. I
Or
could
maybe
see it
more
be.
classes too, or like more loadouts with more
Yeah, maybe.
weapons.
I could see it giving players ammo back when they're revived. I know that's not realistic, but that's the only thing
Oh, that
that I
would be
could see
cool.
improving medic. Where it's
Man,
like if you're an AT, you use your two rockets and you go down, like
imagine
you
how
get.
shitty that would be. All right, medic,
It's
real
gonna be
quick,
terrible for
execute
us, but
me.
that's the whole.
Kill
But
me
and
real
it's
quick.
not. Yeah, it's not good, but it's like how the fuck do you make this stupid role better? And that's the only
Yeah.
things I can think of. It's not great. I don't think like I mean you take away from other aspects of the game to increase
Hmm.
this role, and that's how stupid this role is.
I think keep it simple. To your point, like give them a buff that maybe like further reduces recoil, and then maybe like some sort of like makes them run faster or some shit. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, maybe like instant revive and instant bandage or some shit like that. I don't
yeah,
know. Something. But again,
but
this is a tricky one. I'm really
yeah,
curious to see what they do with it.
very much so. Bipods, obviously a major complaint. I think this is a huge win. I mean, bipod for Hell Loose is notoriously bad. Making it so you
Yes.
can bipod better, I think this doesn't fix the underlying issue of like the windows always being on the wrong side of the buildings, but bipods, they get stuck everywhere. They're terrible. This is like
Yeah.
well needed.
Yeah, I don't know how much. It's not even worth diving into this. As long as they fix the issues and make it so you can
Done.
actually bipod correctly, you're good.
Yeah. Cool. Quality of life improvements, the last part, increased server controls. I think this goes back to RCON V2. So putting more control into the server owner's hands to where, imagine this, you have an armor only because you restrict all infantry classes. You have a no artillery server because you turn off artillery. I think that would be fantastic. That's the direction this game needs to go.
Yeah, absolutely. This one little line could be the biggest thing on this roadmap and the most impactful, depending on what they allow us to do and what this actually means. Because I don't know what increased server controls means. It could be something as simple as like you can control how long your matches are on your server or something like that. I don't know how in depth they'll go with it. Obviously, this is implying that. I don't know what else it would be. But going back to your point, Raz, the day they let us actually control what players and players can't do on your server in game is the day Hell Let Loose like gets taken to that next level.
Mhm.
So hopefully this is that or the start of that.
Agreed. Admin camera. Listen to me when I tell you this. People love shoutcasting hella loose. I don't care if you like it or not. It is the most watched regularly on all of our channels, like admin cam, e-sporting hella loose. It comes off so like cinematic, like you feel like you're watching like Fury, like people love it. Make
Yeah.
admin cam like squad.
Yeah, this is going to be something that doesn't affect 99% of players, but for people like Raz and I, this is great.
Mhm.
And it is great for Hell Loose in general because going back to Raz's point, this game, its only source of growth going forward is content creation. It's exhausted a lot of other ways like the Epic Game Store and Windows release and stuff like that. So,
Mhm.
for content creation and reach, I know it's kind of not the whole purpose of this, but it's going to make it look a lot better when we're making those videos, and for comp matches being viewed and stuff like that. So it is a really cool thing that a lot of people aren't going to be able to get to use, but it's going to be good for the game.
Agreed. I mean, it just changes the way you view Hell Loose easily.
Yes, absolutely.
User interface, I mean, yeah, like they've made some great changes already, in my opinion. I mean, like the load in screen is a lot better. They also made some bad changes. Like, remember one of those subtle changes where they added the audio that was like super chunky when you're picking everything?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was awful. But there
I
have
mean,
been
it's
some
yeah.
really nice changes that have been
If
made,
I had to guess
genuinely.
how this is going to go down, as they're going to do something to change however you select something in the game, everyone will complain about it. Then a month later, no one will complain about it, and we'll all just be used to it because that's how these things go.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all for UI changes. Like, that's fine. Great. I think Hell Loose has very chunky UI as is. So,
Hmm.
absolutely. Great.
Anything, a perfect world, don't know what this is. Anything that gets players to playing the game faster, I'm all for.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, I think you said it best, Fresh. Like, whatever restricts your ability, I'm sorry, whatever is gone from restricting your ability to play.
Yep. Yeah, you don't
And
want the game to fight you.
yes, and like I mean, I love Squad 44. There are often times that I feel like I am struggling to play the game because there's so many things that like have to be going a certain way. And sometimes I do feel like that in Hell Loose. Obviously, like no one's building garrisons, for example, right? Like that's a struggle for me to enjoy the game or play the game. Like
Hmm.
whatever is the path of least resistance. And that's why,
Yes.
unfortunately, Fortnite and like Battlefield and Call of Duty are so popular because they're so easy to jump in and enlist immediately, right?
Yep. And then if it's a matter of 3 less clicks to get to where you want to go,
Exactly.
cool. All for it.
Exactly. All
Give
right.
us this next one, Raz.
This is my least
It
favorite
is
thing. This is
so
the
strange. It is
stupidest
so
thing to include in
strange.
this roadmap. Barbed wire LOD fix. So I wrote this
Why?
down so I wouldn't
Who's
forget this.
talking about this?
All right. Sorry, I might have to cut this but I have to find what I said because this infers two things for me. What the fuck did I write? Sorry,
Well,
hang on.
did someone actually ask for this? I feel like I've never seen this specifically mentioned. And why is it such a big deal that it needs to be on the roadmap?
That's exactly fucking my point. Okay, this implies two different things for me. Number one, you didn't have enough stuff to put on the roadmap. Or number two, you're only working on the barbed wire LOD and ignoring everything else. Yes, the barbed wire LOD specifically does have an issue. However, every LOD is fucking terrible in Hella Loose. So
Yes. Yeah.
it's
I mean, it's
awful.
yeah.
Why are
This is
you
too.
not just saying LOD fixes instead of putting barbed wire LOD fix? This tells me that one dev looked at Hella Loose, played tank one time, and like, oh wow, that looks terrible. I need to fix
Yeah.
that. We've been telling you this for years. We
Yeah.
literally had you come on the podcast and say this.
This is
What are you
either two things.
doing?
They either fucked up the roadmap and they just
Forgot to
needed something to
change
put
this.
down, or even worse, they're not working on other lot fixes.
Yes. This
So
is the stupidest thing to put on the
this
roadmap.
either needs to be like scrubbed from the roadmap, which it hopefully
Yes.
is at some point, and they put something else here and just put this as a fucking note in a dev brief, or you just put lot fixes and hopefully that's what they're actually working on. I don't
Like
want to spend too much time on this. It's getting me worked up just talking
I
about it.
I'm gonna I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt, Team 17, and I'm gonna assume you mean LOD fixes, and I'm gonna hope to pray to God that you mean that. But if by
This is
God
so
these barbed
stupid.
wire LOD fixes are not fucking fixed, I'm gonna fucking riot. Okay,
This is not worth being on a roadmap.
this is a holiday
Look
2025 update.
look how vague everything else is. Then we have
Barbed wire LOD fix.
lot fixes.
It's
How specific that is.
I wish I had a compilation of. I'm sure I do have a compilation of every fucking terrible odd. You remember in is it SME or SMDM? No, SME. I think it's specifically when you're on the south side of the map, on the main road, and you're looking a little to the right of SME. There is a giant fucking tower of a tree that goes like 300 feet up in the air. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
No, but I believe it.
Dude, it's the weirdest shit. This lot has been in there
I can talk,
forever.
dude. I can talk about LODs for days. Purple Heart Lane. I don't play it because of the LODs.
It's
Like
so bad.
it's so bad, and the fact
But
that
let
they
me tell
have
you
the
fresh.
audacity to put barbed wire.
Well,
on the
barbed
LOD
wire
next to it.
lods will be fixed though. So you'll be able to play
You
some
can't
parts
even
of that
see
map.
buildings on some maps.
It's so fucking dumb. That is the
All right.
stupidest thing. Sorry.
Yes,
Yeah.
this is dumb.
So
Yep,
dumb.
Okay. Yep.
Last thing, VoIP post match changes.
This
I have
sounds
no
so
idea
cool.
what this is.
This will so if I had to guess, and I bet I'm right. So you know how when you're finishing a match and you're using in-game comms, as soon as you get to that victory screen, you can't talk to your squad anymore. I bet this just lets you communicate with your squad after that until map change.
What if I had a bad squad and I don't want to fucking bother them?
You gotta mute some people, bail out of there, dude. But I bet that's all this is.
Oh,
Is
probably like Squad 44 and Squad.
yeah,
How
something
everyone
similar to
just
that. Maybe it's the whole
talks
team.
in
I don't
proxy
know.
chat at the
I
end,
hope
and
to
it's just
God. I hope it's just your squad and not proxy and the whole
God.
team.
The
Because I
proxy
imagine
chat
50
after
people.
Squad. That's what it is in Squad. It's awful,
Yeah, it's
and I just have
terrible.
to
So
mute
hopefully,
everyone.
yeah, hopefully it's just your squad, so you can keep talking about how cool of a match you had or how pissed off you are, and it's not the whole team.
I'm really
But
pissed off about barbed wire lods. I'll tell you that.
dude, yeah, I can imagine 50 people talking about it now.
Fuck me.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
imagine it's gonna be something like that.
Well,
But
that's the
it.
Hell Loose roadmap in a nutshell. I mean, yeah, I told Fresh, I was like, this will only take 10 minutes. It took a little longer.
40
than that, clearly.
minutes, dude.
But yeah, no. Thank you guys for watching. I mean, what do you think, Fresh? Like, are you excited for this roadmap of 2025? Are you not?
Cautiously excited is the best way to put it. Again, I don't want to get excited because this is so intentionally vague. I don't like that because in days past they'd be like artillery systems, parentheses, like adding more, just blah blah blah. Armor systems, like doing it this sort of way. It's all very vague here in Hell Let Loose. We've been burned before, so I'm not getting my hopes up. This could be a really good year for Hell Let Loose. Could be. Strong emphasis on could. And that's all I can really say about it. It could be shit if it's only minor changes. And we might just be getting one new map and everything else is just kind of whatever. But until we know more details, it's really, really hard for me to sit here and say this is going to be the best year ever. But hey, again, it could be, might not be. It's hard to say right now.
Maybe I'm just sick and maybe I'm just grumpy, Raz. Uh, Let me preface before I say this, because I could be wrong. I love Hell Loose, and Hell Loose is my favorite game. I have like over 3,000 something hours in Hell Loose. I play it all the time. It's makes my number one game. This roadmap fucking sucks. I am not a fan of this. I think it's super mid, if anything, below mid. I think that obviously we know Tobruk, but having one other map I think is like a big step back. I would like at least 3 maps a year. To your point, Fresh, I think that the specificity is super important. Obviously, you don't want to tie yourself down, but like giving precision strike when precision strike has never been a conversation ever, putting the barbed wire LOD fixes when that's being specific, but it's not specific in other spots. We say armor systems, like do they know what armor systems we want? We haven't ever had anything changed. The cosmetic, yeah, that's great. New vehicles, but then you're showing pictures of old vehicles that were in the game, like
Yep.
and then you're teasing us with like this gunner on top of the tank. I can guarantee you without a reasonable doubt in my head that will never be in Hell Loose. Period. So
I
like,
can't imagine it being there.
don't have that in there. Like, don't. I think that it's at a point where they are still unsure of what they want, and they're putting this so abstract that they're trying to like put something together. Yes, it's better than last year, but I think last year was also a major fuck up. Like, they
Mhm.
did improve a lot in what actually came out. Absolutely. I mean, they got a lot out last year, in my opinion, but it was a lot of fixing what happened the year before that, right? So, like, considering they got everything fixed and now they're setting up for a whole year of like success, I think this is super mid, or it's just like meh.
I think the roadmap itself, like looking at this, again, I don't know what it is and what isn't going to be. This road, like the actual roadmap, not what's on it, is a pretty shit roadmap. I'll agree with that. Because it doesn't go into specifics or anything like that. But my back to my point, if they come out with a good armor system,
That's fair.
a good
Yes,
map, a
I'll give you
good
that.
artillery system, and they upgrade audio and visual to like something Squad 44, we're talking like a whole different game here.
Yeah,
Again,
I'll give
that
you
could
that.
be yeah. Here's the downside of that. Let's say they take a go at armor systems and they make it worse. Let's say
Yeah.
they take a go at medic systems and fuck the whole game up. You only get one shot of that, or else you're left fixing it for months and months and months. So they're being pretty brave with some of this stuff. So I got to give them that. But what worries me is there's no specifics here. So they could end up getting themselves in a pickle with some of this stuff if it's not done correctly. So it's like going back to my point. This could be a really good year for your Hell Loose. This could be a really bad year for Hell Loose. And the bummer about looking at this roadmap is we don't know any of that. We have no idea what they're working on and what any of this stuff is. It's kind of just you know,
Yeah, I
I don't know how
think
to put it.
no,
Like
I
it's
think
just
you
like
put it perfectly
yeah,
because like you really like now that you said that, like I'm
it's
thinking
empty
back and it's like
promises right now.
yes.
It's
And
strictly empty promises.
and I'm
So
basing it on empty promises from before, you know?
yes,
So it's
that's
like
fair.
I'm having the minimum expectation that like not a lot is going to change, but you're absolutely right. Like if they do rework the armor system, if they do completely revamp VFX, completely revamp audio to like what we were talking about our dream state. No, I'll give you that Fresh. I'll give you that Team 17 100%. I think this would be an amazing roadmap. But to me, like what they've done in the past so far and like what they've actually produced, that doesn't tell me that's what it's going to be. And I think
No.
that's why I'm like underwhelmed, where it's like I've been waiting this whole time and I'm like, this needs to be it. And like it can't come
Hey,
out
it could
Q4.
be it.
Yeah,
We
oh
don't know.
god. Yeah, I know.
It could be it.
Very true.
But again, I get where you're coming from. There's no backing of any of this of how they're gonna do whatever.
Right.
That's
It's like
I think that's what really matters. There's no meat here. It's just words on a page. And at least in past roadmaps, they have been very specific about what the new vehicles will be,
Hmm.
what the new map will be, and stuff like that. And here it's all just blank. And I think that gives you more to worry about than more to be hopeful about in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Again, I want the absolute best for Hella Loose. I love it so much, and I really, really want it to be so successful. I want you all to enjoy it. I want to enjoy it with Fresh. So, like, I am hoping they really nail it out of the park. And, like, devs, if you are listening, please reach out to us. We'd love to go ahead and help guide your hand in, like, what we think, the ideal state would be. Because I'd like to think that we have like good representation with some of our peers and colleagues, like from all aspects, comp and both, general, right? Like Das Altberg has so many resources in the comp scene.
Hmm.
And like I would love to cater some more aspects more to the comp because comp has some great ideas. But it also has to stay true to Hell Loose and be more approachable for brand new players and people that just want to enjoy like the thematic piece. Like Husk, for example. Husk loves Hella Loose because of the immersion, but he's not like, super into all the like technical aspect of it. He loves the RPing of it. And a lot of people love that. I would say the vast majority like that part. So like those are things that they really need to like make more prominent in the continued, development of the game. So
I
yeah.
will say there's a lot. I think this is going to be the same case for everybody. There's a lot of stuff on here that's not on here. I know number one, people are going to talk about the Pacific, which is not on here. I know
Oh
people
yeah,
always
good
talk
point.
about destructibility, and it's not on here,
Yeah,
which
that's not gonna be
that's a
on here.
fucking that's a dream that's never happening in this game. But I know people will first see this roadmap and think that,
Yeah.
and there's stuff for me on here that's not on here for me too. I would love a tutorial or some better onboarding for new players. I would love specifically LOD fixes, and stuff like that. But again, it's just not on here, which is always something to be bummed about. But I think everyone's going to feel that way about a specific thing.
Agreed. Yeah, I think if anything, that'll probably come out. Like, Hell has purchased the IP, so I'd imagine that would be like part of Unreal 5, and like if they ever made a Hell Loose 2. To be honestly, like,
Yeah, we have no insight on that, by the way. If anyone
yeah,
thinks we do, we have no
no,
fucking clue if they're ever making Hellas
no
2.
clue.
We just like to think they are because they paid so many millions of dollars for this. It only makes sense. And there's no Pacific, which I think would be for that.
And like, I would imagine like what I mean, if I was the owner of Team 17, which obviously I'm not, like I would imagine that you would purchase this IP with the intention of filling that gap between Battlefield and Squad 44. Like there
Hmm.
is a large market of people that are tired of how the existing battlefields are going, and they don't like the super hardcore because it's too big of a jump in Squad 44. That huge market of people that like approachable milsim, realistic milsims, that's all open for Hella Loose. That's where Hella
Yeah.
Loose sits.
And on top of that, there are no World War II first person shooters like that I've even heard about coming out.
Mhm.
So, and that's been a very large benefit for Hell Let Loose over the
Yeah,
years is that the competition's been next to nothing in that genre. And I have yet to see anything that's coming out that's going to rival this. So they still have opportunity to really capture an audience here.
so much market.
So yeah, so I mean they're in a good spot to really improve on it. I feel like we harp on this all the time, but yeah,
Yeah, it's so
it's they
true
spend
though.
millions of dollars. I mean the opportunities there. That's why we think Hell Let Loose 2 is a thing.
Yeah. Well, thanks guys. It's been too long, but hope you guys enjoy it. What do you think about the roadmap? Let us know in the comments. And I stream on Twitch too. Come check us out on Twitch. I'm sure we'll be streaming Tobruk when it first comes out. Take care, Fresh. Thanks for joining us.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.